Hey everybody, welcome to the last day. Oh my goodness, don't make me cry. The last day of how to make money with email mastermind. It's awesome that Raptive has done this. We'll talk about this at the end, but if this has been helpful to you, send them a thank you because they're paying real money for this. They tried to pay me in dairy products, and I was like, look, I'm already stocked full of cheese in there, and I love cheese, but I get a little bloated sometimes. So maybe actual currency. So now they send me, rolls of pennies and quarters. I think that's just to spite me, but I'll take it, and I'm thankful for them. And yeah, if this is helpful, let them know. Today, so our topic has been how to make money with email. There are some really interesting things happening in email. I want to give you kind of my headline today. This is not going to be right for all of you, and maybe any of you that are on this session or watching on repeat. I just want you to think about newsletters differently. With everything that's going on, I mean, Raptive sent out an email from Michael Sanchez talking about the state of AI and transformative change. Things are happening. Things are changing. What does that mean for email? Well, it's going to get caught up in it, and it's probably an opportunity. I don't probably need to sell you on that too much, but I want you to think about this. I think newsletters have the capability to be the new magazines, the new blogs. Now, this is not new. There have been plenty of people who've used their newsletters like this for years, well before even blogs were a thing. Newsletters have been around. But what's old is new again. And there are ways now to monetize that we've been talking about, and other ways that we've not yet discussed, where you can make money with a newsletter. So let me share with you a couple of things. And of course, I'm not trying to take away anything from your website where Raptive supports and makes money. I just think this is all just going to be additive to your brand. If you decide to go here, many of you will have to evaluate the ROI. Does it make sense in the short term? It probably makes sense in the long term, depending on what your goals are. But from a branding perspective, let's dive into this real quick. I want to show you, not that one. I'm going to show you this one. I met somebody at the Craft and Commerce convention. That is ConvertKit's official convention. And her name's Marissa. And she has a newsletter called From Boise. She has a website, kinda, but she is monetizing, and she may not be to the level that you all are, but look at what she does. Certainly Boise has been, and any city or travel location has blogs where people talk about it. Travel blogging is a thing. She's taking a different approach. She is coupling a newsletter and a podcast together, where she is focused on information that benefits local Boiseans. So what does she have? She has the stuff that you might expect. But she also, so she's got down here, she's got list of Treasure Valley pools. Here's a quick list of pools and splash pads around the valley. So she's done a lot of work here. This is the type of thing you would see in a blog post, right? And so she's done a lot of work here and put this all together. Additionally, if you scroll up, let's find it here. She's got a podcast, but then she also talks about kind of the history. She's diving into Boise's most famous pool, and she's just really going deep in this stuff. Okay. Now, this is just one example. She has other things that are a little bit more on the nose, like the where to take kids during the summer in Boise, best hikes around Boise, that kind of stuff. She has all that stuff too. But I wanted to share this one because how she's making money on her newsletter and her podcast is through sponsorships. We talked about this before. Whether or not you are selling your own sponsorship or you're using another agency or somebody like ConvertKit Sponsor Network to do it. Maybe someday Raptive will get into this space. It would not surprise me at all, actually. But she's getting paid by this local real estate company. And she's sending out multiple newsletters per week. So in her world, she's making some money, right? And starting to build a presence. Here's another
Matt,
one.
do you know how many subscribers she has, or what kind of arrangement she made with the real estate guy to charge him based on subscribers, or do you know any
I don't know
data?
anything about the deal, but I know that I think she's in kind of the 20 to 30,000 subscriber range.
Got
And
it.
when I talked to her, we were talking about how does she grow that.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about partnerships with other local influencers. And so she's doing the kind of a quick start guide concept where she's partnering with, there's a city right next to Boise called Meridian. And so she's partnering with somebody that is an influencer. It's all about Meridian. I think it's called From Meridian or something like that. Or no, it's Go Meridian. Anyway, so that influencer, they're teaming up to make these Boise Meridian guides, and then they're cross promoting, and they're both growing each other's lists and their Instagram followings, and by dangling this carrot, and they're doing it together. And so
Nice.
they're growing their list organically that way. So it's pretty cool. Now, I don't know what the deals are that she's negotiating or any of that. And everybody, this is different scope, right? I mean, I've got people that are listening to this that are, millions of page views on their blogs. We've got some folks, I know for a fact, some of you who are watching on repeat that are in New Zealand. Sorry about that. Or sorry about the time. But thank you for watching. You have millions of page views. So what's my point? This is Marissa making a living in Idaho versus you in New Zealand making your living with millions of page views. I just am showing you different business models. Now I'm going to show you two more, and we're going to do a little bit more business model breakdown here that I think you might find interesting. Not that we'll come to that one. Here's another one. This guy came out of nowhere. Sahil Bloom. Really interesting stuff. And his goal is to get a million subscribers by the end of 2024. He's at 400,000 subscribers. I think he's growing like crazy. He is using he's selling sponsorships in his ads, and then he's taking every dollar that he gets from those sponsorships and putting it back into paying for more subscribers to grow his list so that he can get bigger sponsorships, so that he can blah, 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 right? You see how the flywheel starts to go there. And the ConvertKit actually is holding him up kind of as a poster boy for flywheels and paid, and growing your list and all that stuff. But he does really great content. It's really interesting. He doesn't really post it on, I think he puts it on his blog, but he focuses mostly here. So he's just kind of taking the content and putting it everywhere. And here you can see he's got this deal with this coffee company, and it's a long form ad, a long form sponsorship, but you get used to seeing this from Sahil, and it doesn't bother you. And so you keep reading and going through it. Oh, he's got recommendation zone. Okay, there's Athletic Greens. All right. So a couple of ads in there is covering the cost of that. He's then taking that money and reinvesting it in his business to grow the business bigger. So it's a different way to look at using your newsletter versus I just have to make money. What if it's a vehicle for funding other parts of your business? And like in his case, it is. I'm really sorry about this light. This is so ridiculous. This is blinding here. What it's doing is taking away from my really good hair day, and that just irritates me. All right, that's one. The other one I want to show you. Okay, Cody Sanchez. Cody Sanchez is a really interesting personality, both on YouTube, Twitter. She's with contrarian thinking. Basically, what she does is she has been buying small businesses that she calls them boring businesses, and things like service businesses or laundromats or whatever. And then she creates content and blogs about it and makes videos about it and builds her newsletter. So her newsletter, look at this deep dive. Now, this is not what I normally teach for my blogging friends. Usually I want them back to the website, but I'm showing you today, I'm trying to show different business models. So what she's doing here is she even talks, boy, flywheel, this was accidental. Flywheel seems to be the thing. So she says today in 10 minutes or less, you're going to learn this, 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 and this. So this is like a magazine. This is like a blog. And she goes through this and gives really great, punchy, interesting copy that is not too wordy, but is, you know, look how she knows about skimmability, doesn't she? This is very skimmable. She uses subheaders. You know, I love me a good subheader. Anyway, this is not about formatting. This is about business model. Okay. So then she goes through this. You can advertise and, you know, yada, yada. The whole point is how does she use this in addition to everything else that she's doing? So let's do a deeper business model breakdown that might be closer to the type of stuff that you're doing. We're going to go a totally different direction now. This is my friend Sarah. She is a Raptive partner, and she has little bins for little hands. And her focus is on teaching our parents and teachers. She gives them resources so that they can, you know, set up STEM experiments and make learning math and art fun for kids. All right. I have just pulled up, if you go to her website, look at this 5-day STEM challenge with screen-free activities for kids. Does that seem familiar? So she's been running these types of things for a very long time. Not just this. So we did a quick start guide together. I don't think that's even close to her biggest traffic driver. She's been doing this for a very long time, and she ranks for all sorts of things like slime and Legos and whatever. And so she gives away tons of freebies, free resources, PDFs and guides and stuff like that. So let's take a look at what does she send you. For the people who are in the templates don't matter camp, I'm about to give you some extra ammo, some extra support. Let's look at what she's doing here. All right. So if I go back, I'm in my trash. Okay. So I've signed up for her newsletter. I just wanted to show you how often she's emailing. It's pretty regular, isn't it? So almost every other day, every 2 or 3 days, she's sending something. You can email more often than you think if you are providing value. It's not spam if you're providing value. So perhaps one small takeaway here is consider emailing more frequently. Whatever you're doing, if you're doing a weekly, maybe you do 2. If you're doing 2, maybe do 3. Okay, just giving you some food for thought here. Now let's get into these. Okay, we're going to look at a few. This falls into your template doesn't matter camp. Okay, if you can't get to the beach, what's the subject line? Ways to play with sand. Then you click on any of these, and you've got this activity, volcano experiment, how to make sand slime. Okay, so she's just promoting her content. We all do this. So this is just a normal newsletter kind of thing, right? Scroll on down. Our summer fun bundle. What's a summer fun bundle, you ask? Well, it's a $30 pack of seasonal PDFs. She has a lot of these. Let's keep going. This was Wednesday, iArt. Okay, so this is the free thing. And then this is the paid thing, the famous artist pack, which is $20. Oh, you want the annual club membership? That's here. Does this feel like it's super salesy? No. But she is regular about promoting it, and she is consistent about, she usually mixes it together with free stuff. Free plus paid are all together. Celebrate with STEAM projects. Oh, look, she's even got a summer solstice project pack. Now, having talked with Sarah, I know that one of the secrets to her business is she's figured out how to make paid products and then use email to do it. She has people that she employs to generate these projects, both the free and the paid stuff. Free art challenges for kids. There's that one. You can also add remember the famous art pack? There it is again. Here's a bunch of cool art projects. So she's kind of on this theme with the famous art pack. Now, she's not doing what I told you to do with the sales launch thing, is she? I don't know when she launched this, but I'm getting the sense that this is a recent product because she's mentioning it multiple times and she's tying free content back to it. Let's keep going. Here we've got, I don't know, Lego. There's the artist pack again. We've got the DIY summer sensory camp, or you can, this is the free one, or you can buy you see this? I mean, it's just on and on and on. She mentions the club multiple times. So if you're consuming the content, you can get these free ones, or you can get the camp pack, which you're going to pay what, $9? Oh, $4. It's a $4 product. So she's got price bands from $4 up to $30 that I've seen so far, right? So there's a lot of opportunity here. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down, that there are opportunities within your email. Now, when you start to combine this flywheel concept, I don't have to explain probably what a flywheel is, but if you're pumping water from a well, you have to keep pumping and use your arm action over and over and over again, and it's just your muscles and your energy that it takes to do that. Once you get to a certain point, the flywheel can be done with if you set up some perpetual energy into a flywheel, you just get that thing going, and then gravity and the laws of physics take over and handle it for you, and the thing runs by itself almost. So if you're using like email as a way just to generate content ideas, you could be doing something like this, where you have your lead magnet and you ask a question in the first email, they give you an answer back, you capture those responses, and then you can use those responses to create future content. That's a flywheel. I also have, I listened to a podcast of a gentleman who said every time he gets a question twice, or an answer to the struggle question more than once, he creates a product to solve it. So if you get the same question about cleaning more than once, boom, there's a digital product. Or boom, there's a blog post for you to create. All right. I am super excited about the opportunities that exist within the email space. Usually when I am talking to this group, we have a fairly, when I'm doing a session with bloggers mostly, we have a pretty SEO centric view of the world. And I'm just hopeful that I've helped to paint a couple other alternatives and pictures here. Probably not last, but I want to hammer on a point that I made on day one. So you rank for something, congratulations. Are you really creating a brand? Some of you on this call right now have almost faceless brands, or you've purchased businesses that have a different person's name and brand associated with it. That's going to be a challenge going forward. That's my belief. You can use email strategically. I can't tell you exactly how, but I've given you the tools, I hope, to think about automations a little bit differently. If we pause for a moment and remove ourselves from the daily SEO, Pinterest, Facebook group grind, the constant creation of social, and we think for just a second about who do we want to be in that reader's mind, and then craft that journey. I was on Twitter today, and somebody said, here's a thought exercise for you. Envision your perfect life at age 80. And so he said, my perfect life is that I'm sitting at my lake house and my grandkids are running around out on the grass. I'm having a lovely conversation with my adult children, and we're enjoying a meal together. I'm healthy. My mind is at peace. That's what that looks like to me. And so he said, now we're just going to work backwards to get there. What does that mean? Well, treat your body like you should so that you're healthy when you're 80. Treat your kids and the way that you should so that you're having those types of conversations when you're 80. Same concept. What's that thought exercise for us? We've talked about the Forever series. We've talked about quick start guides. You're getting somebody in your list now. They are precious. What if you treated them that way? And what if you thought through that journey? How would you then compete with everybody else in the digital space? How would you then be like Michael Sanchez talked about in his write-up yesterday about creators that actually create and our subject matter experts will have a place even in a AI-driven world? Are you carving that out, or are you regurgitating stuff that's already on the Mayo Clinic's website? Are you regurgitating a cookie recipe that's on the back of the Toll House chocolate chips package? I'm being a jerk, but I'm doing that intentionally. Email is honestly one of the only ways that I know that we can create that, build our story and write it out. One of the things that I highly suggest that you do is you flush out what makes you special, and you figure out ways to mention that. I'm not about a welcome sequence. I mean, some people totally are. Let me be clear. A welcome sequence in my mind is hi, Matt, I am the creator of this blog, and I have been doing this for 25 years, and here's how you use my blog. Here's pointing you to the best resources. That's fine. But what I want to know is, I want to know strategically, I want to know what makes you tick, what makes you special. And I want that coupled with content. If you want an example of that in the offline world, Rick Steves. Does anybody know who Rick Steves is? He's fantastic at that. He is like the travel expert for Americans who want to go to Europe. He's been doing it for 30 plus years. He's been creating guidebooks. He's had PBS TV shows. Now he's got podcasts. He's got the whole thing. But nobody cares about Rick at first. They don't really, in fact, his blog and his website and his newsletter, he only does it monthly. But he does a real nice job of coupling his past experience and the flavor of what he's experiencing over there and the stories that he has with the practical, here's where you go, here's where you stay in Paris. Here's what to do when you're gonna go shop at Rue Claire, right? He gives you the practical, exact, tell me what to do, coupled with who he is and what he believes. That would be an entirely different course. But my point is that email can get you there if you'll take the time. If you'll take the time. And I think that most of you will not. And that's unfortunate. Okay, let's stop there. We can talk about, at this point, I'm going to open it up to the folks that are here with me live. We can talk about your individual businesses. We can keep recording, or we can stop recording if you'd prefer it to be private. We can do that too. And if not, my dad taught me a long time ago that nobody ever gets mad when a meeting ends early. That has never happened. So, all right, let's open it up to my fine folks who decided to join me on the last session. Tell me about where you are in if you want, let me give you some thought starters here. Where are you with your email journey based off of where you were and where you want to go? What questions do you still have in your mind? Is there any help that I can offer to help clarify a strategy or a plan for going forward?
I have a question. Can you hear me? Sorry, I have.
Yep.
Okay. Well, first of all, this has been very helpful in pushing me to get farther in my email journey than I have been, because I email my list, but I haven't been super proactive about, getting the pop-ups and everything. So I've gotten
Sure.
all that set up, and I'm
Cool.
definitely getting more subscribers in the last 2 weeks, which is amazing.
Awesome.
So second question being, we've talked about this a little bit before, like I'm niching down a little bit from, general lifestyle blog to a more focused lifestyle blog. So my newsletter currently focuses on the niche that I'm moving toward. I have done freebies. I do have free printables on my blog. I have done free printables in the past, and I have sold a product that did pretty well, but it doesn't align with my niche anymore. So I'm not currently really pushing that product. I mean, I might in the future as just kind of a silo hanging out there, but right now it's not my priority. But when I was selling that product, I had lots of blog posts that led, like lots of freebies, like free coloring pages, let's say, and then they could buy a coloring book at the end. If I give them the free coloring page, is that better deliverable via the email? Like you're sending them that one freebie and then leading them to your sales? Or like, for example, I'm just interested in how the Little Bins is doing that.
Okay, let me make sure I understand the question. So you're giving them a free coloring page.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the promise.
Yep.
So what she's doing, I don't know if you want to try it, but what she's doing is she's going, here, as promised, here's your free thing. You might also be interested in this. And then she's putting that in the same message. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, kind of like, for example, people always want labels from me, like for green cleaning products. So if I'm like, here's the label for window cleaner, but if you want my pack of all 70 labels or whatever, here's the thing.
Right.
So are you delivering item number one? Like, are they just downloading it from your website page? I mean, I'm getting into the weeds here.
No,
or are you sending it to them? Yeah.
No, I would send it probably. And, like if it depends on where you keep it. If you keep it if you attach it to a ConvertKit incentive form or upload it to their library, you could do it that way. You could also upload it to your media library within WordPress and get an exact link to that and share it there. But yeah, I'm sending it in the email where that's what I do is as promised, here's your free download. So they can just click straight to it.
So to clarify, in your, like, for example, on your Disney blog, you'd say like, here's your free packing list.
Yep.
And then when they sign up for your email to get the free packing list. And then in that first email, you send them the free packing list.
Yep.
And at the bottom of that email, it says, if you want to also buy our luggage tags, here's where you can.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, that helps me. I have a lot of free printables and I've done a lot of free printables, but I find like that's a big churn rate. Is that typical?
So very, very common because people are grab and go. They don't care about you. So the opportunity though is to get them to care about you. Right. I feel like in exchange for that freebie, they've given you permission to email them some more stuff. What they don't know is awesome number 2, 3 through 10 that you still have that they just don't know about. So what I'm doing with most of my clients that have that situation is I'm coming up with an excuse. Call it a quick start guide, call it a series or whatever it is that basically says, as promised, here's your Disney Cruise packing list. Over the next 5 days, I'm going to share with you the most powerful Disney Cruise tips you've ever heard. That kind of thing, where I'm just telling them, I'm going to be emailing you more. Or I may even include in that one, as promised, here's your free download. Let me tell you about the most powerful Disney Cruise tip I ever learned. It was this, this, and this. And if you want to learn more about it, click here to my blog article. I want to continue the engagement. So extend that as much as I can with that, 3 to 5 emails in a row.
Okay.
And in your case, what if they get more freebies from you, just like with Sarah, they're going to be like, okay, I tried that freebie. Yeah, I really like them. I use them. And maybe I will now buy the pack of 70 because it's just a no-brainer deal. Okay. That's my feeling on that. The other thing that she does too is, and we talked about this when we were talking about products, seasonality is big. So she is promoting products at different times. And she's killing products off when she gets, she's got a whole thing in March of St. Patrick's Day, all these green fun, green slime, green projects, and she just goes at it. So if you're going to go into that space, I think seasonality is something to factor into.
Well, it makes sense to me too, how like hers really seems to, that's probably her forever series, right? But then it has that stuff built into it, like
She has both. Yeah,
selling
she's
the
got
products.
Evergreen. She's got
Yeah.
Evergreen Forever series. She's
Yeah.
got these seasonal ones and seasonal free and then seasonal paid. But usually it's a mix of seasonal free and paid together, as you saw.
Okay. And then one more question to add on to that one. So when I was pushing a lot of my freebies that maybe weren't as niche specific, I would get tons of subscribers, and then I tried to just really cull that list a lot. Like, how often do you recommend doing that, like with your cold subscribers?
Okay, I am in flux on this right now.
Yeah.
There are things happening in the space where, like even Raptive, I don't think I'm revealing anything here. Raptive is doing tests on the power of an email to impact that ID of it, because it serves as a first party data ID.
Yeah.
And if you can get them to ever click, that has a long-term impact on your overall RPMs, what that tells brands and so forth. So I don't know how to quantify that just yet. That's remains to be seen on the impact it will have. In some cases, though, more ID'd subscribers you have can lead to a significant uptick in RPMs. That's just what they're seeing early on. Anyway, to answer your question, what I've done historically is about every quarter I'd prune the list. Most recently,
Yeah.
and you told me, Brent, I think you're on ConvertKit, is that right?
Yeah.
So your pricing hits at the every 5,000 interval, 15,000, 25,000, 35,000.
Yeah.
So if I'm still in that band, I'm probably not pruning until I'm dangerously close
Yeah.
to the next band.
Okay.
And that's to maximize savings if you need to do that. If you have the possibility of selling them something, or you have a book launch coming up, or you're going to start selling sponsorships in there, I'm much less eager to prune things back, because that's money-making opportunities. Because if you sell a sponsorship to that real estate agent and say, my list is 35,000 people, that's going to be different than having a 20,000 person
Right.
list. And so you can recoup those costs, depending, but you can sometimes recoup those costs. Also, our data on cold subscribers is not as reliable as it used to be. With all the privacy initiatives, Apple, for example, doesn't give MailChimp and MailerLite and Flowdesk and ConvertKit the information about. They just don't. I mean, they ask us if we want to, and the default setting is no, don't share any information, which means you don't have reliable opens and clicks data on approximately 12 to 15% of of your audience. So you could be pruning subscribers out that they're marked as cold. And then it depends on your niche as well. Like, how often do they come back? Like in Riyadh's case, I'm just guessing, I'm making something up, but if I'm in a parenting zone or age range, I might be more quick to be trying to push them into the next, to understand their tier. And then if they're not participating, like in case of newborns, like how long do I keep a newborn or somebody who came into a newborn niche, hasn't opened anything or clicked anything? It's been a year, they're probably gone. However, somebody that is in food, you'll see people will just resurrect out of the, it's just like, oh, I just happen to need food recipes now, and now I'm starting to click on stuff. So it totally changes. And I've done experiments where I was like, okay, but I made cohorts by month. I'm gonna get too technical. The gist of it was that people were coming back from the cold subscriber definition more often than I thought. That's not very helpful, was it? So, the short answer, like maybe once a quarter or twice a year. The long answer is, if you think you can make money with them and you're still got good deliverability and good opens and clicks, generally, I probably don't prune it so much. So.
No, that's actually good, because I get I get kind of vicious about pruning it just because it does get expensive. But
Yeah.
next question is, when you mentioned about the click rate, so like, and the RPMs and everything via Raptive, are you saying that just getting them to click on your email subscribe form, that's giving that more value to your?
Well, Raptive is testing some stuff. And so
Okay.
without going into
Sure.
to details, the general
Yeah.
gist of it is that if a subscriber goes from your newsletter to your blog, and we know your email address gets passed along, just like in the old days, cookies got passed along through the
Okay.
browser.
Yeah.
If your email address gets passed along, generally what companies are trying to do is use an email address as an identifier. Now, it's not that they know that mmullen@gmail.com and who I am exactly. It's going to be what they call hashed, or
Right.
it just means it's obscured. It's dropped into a data pool. So Nordstrom can say, oh, I've got this, and Honda can say, yeah, I've got that same ID. And so now we're starting to put together this picture about this person. We don't know their name or their email address, but it creates this profile from Nordstrom, from Honda. Other advertisers can take that information and advertise against that. So that's my understanding of kind of how it works. I'm not an expert in that. James at Raptive could tell us way more, but that's something that they're looking at and working on. It's not the answer to the cookie issues that are
Right.
going to be, but it is one piece of it that they're looking at.
Which makes it even more important to not be putting all the content in the email, but getting them to click back to your site.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
All
a
right.
very, very astute point for sure.
Okay. Thank
Get
you.
them to click.
Thank you.
Also, we had this conversation before, and I've been giving this a little bit more thought. I think that in some cases, you might want to experiment without images. So you saw Sarah's emails. They're just, most of them are just links. Experiment with that. Because if we can get them to click, for the reason we just talked about with Bren, we may also get them to engage in content that they otherwise, for whatever reason, the image didn't grab them. They didn't like the look of that Harry Potter birthday cake or whatever, and so they didn't click it. You might have missed out. That's actually an interesting example. Harry Potter birthday cake. Probably have a roundup of 800 different examples. And some are going to look super professional, and somebody's going to be some, your 5-year-old made it. And so which picture do you choose? Either it looks too hard, too easy, or somewhere in between. And it might be the perfect thing for them if they actually clicked on it and had those 800 examples. So test it. I'm not saying that images are bad. I'm just saying test it. And it sounds like you're going to be pushing to sell more products in the near future with that approach, right?
Yes. I mean, I know that I have evidence that I can sell digital products. So
Yeah.
I'm just kind of, everything on my blog is shifting a little bit just as my niche shifts.
Yeah.
So currently I'm doing a little more deep dive email, I guess I would call it, versus, where it's several links in an email. I tend to cover one topic,
Yeah.
but this has really spurred me to think more about, I don't know, what's the word? Preparing content, even, when you're writing content, thinking about how it can be served as an email too. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, totally.
5 different things on the same topic, then I can have an email that they're clicking on 5 different things as opposed to covering it all in the email, if that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, wish you the best. Whatever you do, it's going to be awesome. I know it. All right. Well, Riyadh, anything you want to add here, or we exhausted you with
No,
I'm emailed out, buddy.
I could mention a few things. So what I've been doing, just these are more ConvertKit stuff. Like I've been setting up tags. So if someone clicks a link in the email, I'm tagging those
Oh, cool.
people so I can know who are the most engaged, and not just opening the email, but are they clicking? So
Sure.
then I can put them into a segment. So can we also make a tag for someone who makes it through the whole series, like
Yes.
someone who opens every single email?
So I used to do this all the time. I don't as much anymore, but at the end of the quick start guide, for example, when they complete the quick start guide, usually I'm sending them into the Forever series. At that same time, in that same rule, I will tag them as completed such and such quick start guide. And so I used to have like a whole series of tags that were completed this, completed that, completed this, completed that. And so then you would know which one they went through, and also are they done with it? That can be useful for other purposes too, if you want to make sure that you're not like, you know, if you send out a blast to everybody and you want to exclude somebody that's currently in that sequence, then you can use that as a way to do it.
So are you saying someone who made it to the last email, or some, like, for example, say if they opened email number 1, but they didn't open email 2 and 3, but they opened 4 and 5. So does that mean like they just opened the last one, or they opened every single one in this series?
Because as far as ConvertKit's concerned, they sent it, so they're done. Like they sent the email in the order. And so once they've sent that last one, they're like, okay, that sequence is complete. That's all they, you know, that's as sophisticated as they get.
Okay, got it. And then I'm still trying to figure out how to do the, you know, so I have my quick start guide 5 emails set up, and I have it. The first one is immediately, like you said, the other is after 1 day, but then it's Monday through Sunday, so 7 days a week. So I mentioned, like, if I want to send a campaign, you said I should turn off one of those days of the week.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then use a campaign to send it if there's a day that I want to send the campaign. So just turn off one of those days.
Right.
Even though in each email in the sequence it says, hey, tomorrow we're going to send you this, right? So say if it's on a Tuesday, and then we block out Wednesday, they're not going to get email number 3 until Thursday, right?
If it becomes a habitual pattern, then I'd probably change that wording. If it's a one-off, I just wouldn't worry about it, because nobody's going to even remember. And if somebody wrote you back and said, hey, where is it? Then you'd be thrilled that they're that engaged.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just looking through what I have here. I guess will we know if someone unsubscribes when they're in the middle of the series, or you just see that subscriber number change?
Well, there is a in the reports of the sequence, it shows unsubscribes, but I'm not sure that tells you.
Like, I want to know maybe at which point did they drop off?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you'll see that. Actually, you'll see that. No, you will see that, because in the ConvertKit, in the sequence, it has opens, clicks, and unsubscribes. And so it shows if they were opening that email and unsubscribing from that email, it will track that.
Okay, got it. And then, yeah, I guess what I was mentioning earlier, that's basically adding the tag that's a link trigger, basically, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's
so
a good, smart use of it.
I have 5 links, right? 1 in every email, 5 links to 5 blogs. But when I look in my rules, there's only 4 link triggers, which doesn't make sense. There's a link trigger for every one. I don't know.
I wouldn't
share
know
my screen
until we dug into that.
I can ask them. How do we prevent emails from landing in the promotions tab? Because I have a general email that I don't use just for subscribing stuff, just as a test. And then that one, I didn't edit the Gmail inbox to just show all inbox. It has the tabs. And then when I did the test email of the quick start guide that I mentioned to you, I went in the promotions tab. So
most will go into promotions. Yeah, we don't have any control of that. And the reason for that is if I knew the exact secret on that, I'd probably be a very rich man, because there'd be a lot of businesses that would want to pay for that. So I had to come to terms a while back. The promotions tab is not a bad thing. So the real way is if somebody hits reply, that's the best possible way for them to possibly get into the inbox, because you don't reply to Banana Republic, right? You don't reply to the Gap. Those are in the promo tabs for that reason. You reply to your grandma. And so that should be in the inbox. So we either...
Wait, Matt, are you saying that if someone replies to one of your emails and then they get another email in the series, it now goes to the inbox?
Not always, but it increases your chances, right? Because Gmail is they're very sophisticated, but they have these algorithms that are based off of what they think that they know about you. But if you start to reply to something, then there's a better chance that they're going to put that in your inbox because they think that you actually are having an interaction and that you need to have it. So that's step number one. So trick number one is ask, and I think we talked about this the other day, but in your first emails or in all of your emails, ask a question that just they can't help but reply to. I don't know exactly what that is for your business, but if you can get it, like I'm taking a poll is sometimes a hit reply and tell me quickly, your favorite baby name. I don't know. See, I don't even know. But second, back to the promo tab concept.
Yeah, got it.
We just don't want to be in junk. People are actually, the fact that grandma should be in the inbox and spam should be in spam, your email is somewhere in the middle. And so the fact that they've even given us that place is really helpful, because otherwise the choices are not great. People would choose to not have it in their face and it would probably go into spam. So I'm okay with it. I had to make my peace with that a while back. But yeah, that's about the only thing you can do. You can ask them to whitelist. Nobody does, but you can ask and you can hit reply. If your newsletters become more content-based or more personal, like say James Clear is, it's him talking a little bit more, I think you have a better shot also at getting somebody to whitelist you than you do if you're like, hey, I'm the clean eating or the green cleaning blog, check me out. So step by step, I guess. That wasn't a good.
And this is I don't know, maybe it's a stupid, simple question, but like unpublishing, like, so when I'm used to other pop-up softwares or like ESPs, like you turn on a pop-up and you turn it off. You turn it on and off. In ConvertKit, it just says publish, right? So there's no unpublish. It's just, I guess you have to turn it off in WordPress.
Yeah,
like,
that's right. In the
unselected. There's no.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's kind of not intuitive in
Right.
certain ways.
Yeah, no, I agree with the plugin there. You have to, in the plugin, in the settings, you have to set none as the default.
So because when you click that publish button in ConvertKit, it just pulls up the different ways to publish. It doesn't say it's now published and now it's unpublished.
Yeah.
Stupid stuff, I guess. I may end up switching to ConvertPro, like you mentioned. I think I want to give it a little time though to see, because I have an Upwork developer that I work with, so maybe he can do better custom CSS to see if I can make that look really good.
I bet he
But
could.
again, I don't want to that first name field completely made that button not work. I don't know, Matt, if at some point you could try to subscribe again and just see if it works. Then obviously you can unsubscribe whenever you want.
Absolutely, will do. I've got it right here. I'll just do it real quick.
I don't know. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it works. Check your email to get started. I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna get started. And my baby.
Yeah, man, make it through the whole series.
My baby is gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably impossible for me to do that these days. But hey, whatever. Let's see, that's too much information. Was it?
And then in general, it's like, like I think I briefly mentioned this, but I need to figure out at what point to offer them something. I think you kind of mentioned like, hey, at the end of the series, that might be a good time to offer them something, or like what that other one does, Little Hands. They have a link that's not pushy in there, and kind of all of them.
Yeah.
And see if they click it or not. Just like, hey, check this out.
Totally.
Kind of not salesy, but
and she does do sales launches as well. So she kind of mixes them all together. And the other thing that happens with that is that there's no question that she's a for-profit business. You don't go, oh, well, this is weird that she's now, trying to pawn off sale or, paid products. From the beginning, you get that there's free and they're paid, and it's just we're this wonderful resource blog store thing. Yeah. And
because you mentioned like, hey, have one button for them to click. So you want the traffic, right? So just have one big button, so there's nothing else that they can click other than unsubscribe.
Yeah.
but
So,
I guess
on
you
that
could
point,
still
I just
throw it
wanna-
in there.
I want to reiterate that point. Marketing rules are meant to be broken. What I am combating with that, when I make that that assertion early on, and I'm talking about quick start guides for people who are just getting started with copywriting in email. The tendency in most newsletters, historically, when I started this, was 800 things. Like, and what is the point of this? It's like, what's new on Riyadh's blog? Okay, and so there's 800 things for me to click, and I was like, I don't even know. In fact, I have a client that I just did that, where they were putting so much content in the newsletter that people weren't clicking anything. They were frozen. And I went back and I showed him that. I said, you have 52 links in here, and your average number of clicks per clicker is 1.2. That means that almost everybody's clicking one, except for a handful of people who are clicking two. And you have 52 links.
The paradox of choice.
The paradox of choice, exactly. So that's the only point I'm making with the one link thing. It's not a literal only put one link. It's just solve one problem. Sarah is actually solving one problem per email with one free link to the slime and one paid to the slime pack. It's still the same problem that she's solving. It's just how much do you want to invest? How deep do you want to go into it?
Yeah, I think offering something free, like I think a digital product or ebook or something like that makes sense for us too. But I mean, the point is to not just do it for traffic, right? Like, sure, we're getting traffic from people coming back to the site, and that may be more valuable, but I don't know if that's going to be the money earner. I think that's just adding value, but I think all of us in your course, we need to sell something or sponsor. I don't think there's any other way, especially with the display ad traffic. Who knows what's going to happen? Like, we have to build a moat around business, protect it, and add a valuable asset in some way. Email needs to be done, I feel like. So,
well, you're obviously embracing it. I'm excited to see where it goes for you. For all you that have been attending and joining me here, it's been fun it's actually brain candy for me to follow along with your businesses and to see how you're employing this stuff. I learned from it too. Kind of put a pretty bow on this stuff. You won't be bothering me if you have any questions. I'm going to keep the Facebook group open. I don't have any intentions to close it out. If you want to email me directly, do so. I'm doing my best to answer your questions. I want you to be successful. And if this has been helpful to you, do me a favor and send a note to your rep at AdThrive and let them know. That obviously selfishly helps me. But it also, I think, helps you too, because as I mentioned, they're investing in this, and they're investing in a lot of things right now. I know this for a fact. You've seen it too. Where they're spending their dollars, if you let them know that them spending their dollars on you helps them, they're more likely to keep doing that. So whatever the next thing is, whether it's email or video editing or,
well, Matt, if there's someone
robots.
directly that you'd like us to email, like a specific person at Raptive, I'm happy to email them and tell them that, we got value from your course, and give me a link to your Trustpilot too. I'd be happy to leave a review.
I appreciate that.
Anything I can do to help,
you're awesome.
It's gonna take some tweaking, but I think it's good to. I mean, look, we lost a lot of traffic. We at our peak, we were getting 350,000 page views a month. After the helpful content update, we're getting about 150,000 page views a month now. So it really sucks. So that's why we're focusing on updating content. So we're moving up in the rankings. We're ranking for more keywords. And it sucks for me because, I'm not even a year into the content space and SEO space. So I bought this site in August and it hasn't even been a year. So I've had a lot of uphill learning super quick after, being in e-commerce for so long. And then shortly after I bought the business, a hard update came. So I'm kind of, pushing the boulder uphill. So I'm really trying to do as much as I can for it.
That is hard, man. I feel for you there, and that's a tough one because of what the past was like. The fundamentals are still the true. I teach the same stuff to people who are getting started, whether they have 10 million page views a month. It's always the same stuff. It's just whether it's all about the scale to which the lever to which you're pulling.
Yeah.
But it's usually the same effort. So keep it up. And at least in this case, you can feel like you've got real good practices going. And thank you for the willingness to say some
Yeah,
nice
please.
things. My
Yeah,
mother
send
reads
over
those, and I love it when she sees nice things said about me. It makes her happy. So,
Yeah.
all right. Look, you guys go out there, send some emails, break some stuff. Let me know how it goes. Stay in touch. And I hope to see you at a Raptive event live in person. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe they'll do
I
that
didn't know they
again
did
soon.
those. When is the next
Back in
one?
the day, they did.
Oh, they
it
don't
was
do it anymore.
pre-COVID, but maybe they'll do
I
it soon.
desperately miss them. I hope we have one soon.
Yeah, me too.
It
It was
great.
fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you, everybody.
Matt,
Okay.
thank you so much for all your help. Appreciate
right.
it. We'll be in touch.
All right. Take care.
Bye.